like that. Woo!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos by hitting that notification bell, by subscribe button, as well as if you guys like to go ahead and get a shirt, the Pull Up Basketball shirt, white, red, black, and red. Got it right here. And got the host right here, Roderick Masters, man. Finally got my man in the building. Had a little technical difficulties, but he's here now, bro. Go ahead and give him your information, man. We can get started.
Hey man, it's your co-host that does it the most. It's your boy Rick Masters, live in Addison, Texas. You know how we do it, man. But look, BJ already said it. We got the shirts, the red, the black, the white, the sweaters, the hoodies. Hit me and be Jizzle up. Hit that ticker at the bottom, that $ BJ Matthews. If you want to give to the show, we'd much appreciate it. We just feed more into the shirts that we giving y'all. But AB Jizzle at Rick Masters 23, at Rick Masters 23, or Mr. Lee. B Jizzle, let's go.
All right, y'all. So, make sure you let me know. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, bet. All right, so another episode, bro. Another topic we got today, man. We got with the NBA comeback season. You know, training camp's about to start in about a week. So we got a lot of NBA players that's gonna be coming back from injuries. You Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Zion Williamson, Jamal Murray. Those are the four big guys that are coming back this season. But we got other players that are coming back that, you know, might have just, guys like Devin Booker, right? Guys like Devin Booker, guys like Jamal Murray, guys like Kevin Durant. Bro, what is your opinion? Who has the most to prove this upcoming season? Let me hear it from you.
Man, let me tell you, man. Now, when you posed this question to me last night, I was in my head all night, man. I was honestly in my head all night because, I mean, we could think about, you know, the Boston Celtics and the Nets, man, how that went down. You know, we could think about the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics and how it went down for the Celtics. You know, we could think about Jamal Murray. You know, he got injured and everybody's been excited about him coming back because we know he dropped that 50 piece. Like, we know that LeBron James is still one of the stellar players of the NBA. You know, the question is, LeBron, are you going to show up and galvanize and lead your team to another championship? Anthony Davis, are you going to stay healthy? Westbrook, is that jump shot going to drop in front of that Laker crowd? And then you got Zion Williamson. We knew he was a beast, but then we questioned, well, maybe if he lose some weight, will he become the super all-star that we all know he can be? And then Kawhi Leonard, the two-time champion, will he come back with a vengeance? You know what I mean? Well, Damian Lillard, what up, Bruce? What up, Bruce? Damian Lillard, would he come back and would he do his thing in the playoffs like he normally do? BJ, I was thinking about this all night. Now, I think to kind of adjust your question a little bit, who am I most excited about? Hey, man, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. Because I've been saying for a couple, John Wall like Bruce. I even thought about John Wall, Bruce. But the reason why I say Kawhi Leonard is because he's already proven himself in tough situations in the best moments in an NBA career. And he gets hurt. He goes down. He upsets a lot of us just because, you know, we think he's coming back. He doesn't come back. He finally comes back. He gets hurt. It makes, at least for me as a fan, it puts me on this emotional roller coaster. It's like, what would happen if he just stayed healthy? Right? Because we want to see him in all his greatness. And so I think for me, answering that question straight up, just to adjust it a little bit, I'm really, really thinking that Kawhi Leonard has a lot to prove because, for one, they built that team around him with the LA Clippers. For two, we know that he's a two-time champion. We know he can get the job done when he's in the clutch. For three, we know that him and Paul George are probably the best, you know, front court defensive men right now in the game when they're both healthy, right? So they're both good two-way players, and they got a solid team. They got a great coach. So I feel like they have more to prove because him going to the LA Clippers, you know, Jerry West building that team and the organization, it was set for them to win a championship. So they have more to prove, in my opinion. Of course, I got other details for the other teams, but right now, if I have to pick one, Kawhi Leonard has the most to prove. He has to come and win that chip.
That's a good point, bro. I mean, there's so many players that are coming. We got 4 players, like I said, coming back from injury. Kawhi, Jamal Murray, Zion Williamson, Damian Lillard has been out for the majority or the entire season last year. But you got other guys like Anthony Davis, who missed a lot of time last year. You got Russell Westbrook, who had probably his worst last year. You got Jason Tatum playing down the finals. You have Devin Booker. There's a lot of other guys that have who are up on the up for trial, right? But if you ask me, the player that has the most to prove this year is Anthony Davis. Because listen, AD just a couple of seasons ago, AD was a top 5 player, no doubt. But over the last couple of seasons, one or two things have happened. He's been hurt frequently, or he's been not been as productive as dominant, right? Even when he's been healthy these last couple of seasons, especially last year, he looked nonchalant, right? He looked like he wasn't in shape. He looked like he wasn't engaged. He looked like he wasn't hungry. He looked like he was kind of out the offense. So I think this is the year that Anthony Davis has to prove that, I'm still that top 5, top 10 dude when I want to be. So I think it's up to him to, show that he has some fire. The Lakers are going to be, in here. I have no doubt Kawhi Leonard's going to come back with a vengeance because I've seen this before. Y'all recall back in 2018 when Kawhi missed like the entire season he only played 9 games in 2018 season. He comes back with the Raptors and they win another championship. So I've seen this story with him. Now, Kawhi definitely, that's my favorite player right now playing. And I have a lot riding on him as well. He has to get a championship to the Los Angeles Clippers. But I've seen him already in the past do what I think he's about to do right now, which is come back with a vengeance. Anthony Davis, outside of the bubble year, he hasn't really had no true success in the playoffs. He's not been a great leader. He's been in and out. More on him. Said John Wall to me has a lot to prove this year at the day. So that's kind of my hypothesis. I think if we're gonna continuously talk about this subject, I think John Wall is the guy that has been out for a majority of the last 2-3 seasons with multiple injuries. But from what I'm hearing, he's looking great in practices and workouts. He still has that blazing speed. He still has athleticism. It's just the fact that last season he sat out purposely because he didn't want to come off the bench. So I think he's going to come back and surprise a lot of people next year. So with that being said, bro, who else you see in the league, in your opinion, that's going to have, like, you think, a bounce back season?
Man, like you already got one picture up there, Jamal Murray. I think he was spectacular in the bubble. People were getting excited. I think John Morant, and Bane, they got something to say. They could come back, and make some noise, because when they played against the Warriors this, a few months ago, or several months ago, I should say, a few months ago, however you want to look at it, hey, man, they was giving them Warriors that work. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors may have something to prove, because, yes, they just won a championship, but you know how people always say, can you bring it back? Can you bring it back? Can you go back to back? And then if you do bring it back to back, can you go 3 times like Jordan and Kobe and them, like the Lakers and the Bulls organization, right? And then another team I think about, the Bucks. I think about Giannis because, Middleton, got hurt. People may question that. Some people may think I'm crazy for saying this. I'm kind of crazy for saying this. What about the Suns? I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of teams, a lot of players that do have much to prove. But I think the reason why I'm so stuck on Kawhi Leonard is because he gave us something before he left. You know what I mean? Like, we know what he's capable of. And the fact that, he's a weird player, in my opinion. He has a weird career. BJ, didn't you say something about like he's under 10,000 points or something like that, but got 2 championships? Like,
yeah,
it was so crazy.
He has 10,000 points, less than Andrew Wiggins.
Less than Andrew Wiggins, and the man is like the MVP for both his championships. So it's like the reason why I think he's magnified, in my personal opinion, doesn't make it fact, just my personal opinion, is because he's already solidified himself as a champion 2 times. Was it Finals MVP 2 times? And so, of course, the excitement of, okay, now he's about to take his talent to LA. This organization has built a team around him. Oh, he's going to get another chip. Like in our minds, oh, he about to get a 3rd one. He may even get a 4th one with the team. Then he gets hurt. Then you just like, man, like what? Like, come on, man. Like we getting started. And then when you think he coming back, okay, yes, it's our year this year. He get hurt. He's gonna sit out a little bit longer. So I feel like like I said, the emotional part of it is like, yo, Kawhi, come. And I've been saying it several times on this channel. Kawhi, when you come back, you better stay healthy. You better stay healthy. And when it comes to John Wall, here's the thing. I love John Wall. I love his tenacity. I love how this brother plays ball. He's ferocious. He's aggressive. I think I read somewhere. Okay, there he is. I think I read somewhere. You know, wasn't he one of the top point guards in the league right now as far as defensively?
Wait, say it again.
Isn't one of the top point guards that are like top 5, like defensively as a point guard?
Yeah.
So that brings a little excitement to me with him going to the Clippers, because not only are we anticipating and waiting on Kawhi Leonard, but then you already have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. We already know they're one of the top defensive players in the entire league. Then you add a defensive point guard. The excitement is so high, and we're just waiting to see something. So really, I feel like Kawhi and the rest of that organization, they're kind of in a win or bust situation. It's like you either got to come all the way when you come back, or you're going to have people looking at you sideways like, bro, for real? So you come back and this is what you give us? Like, and that, I think that's why I'm stuck on him, man. But, you know, like I said, with John Wall, Bruce and Joe, I definitely can see his point. You know, been out for a while, but, you know, we just got to see. But I'm stuck on Kawhi, man.
You know, Kawhi Leonard, bro, before he got hurt, to me, like I say this, and I continuously say this, he was the best player in the NBA playoffs. He was averaging 30 points per game off of, I believe, 57% field goal percent shooting, 62% true field goal percent shooting, right? I don't mean to go too deep in advanced analytics, but the man was averaging, I think, 7 rebounds per game, around 4 assists per game, 89% from the free throw line, just dominating the entire playoffs, right? This was the same year that, you know, Kevin Durant was, you know, doing his thing in the Eastern Conference. But the reason I say Kawhi was the best player, because he did on both ends. I saw him shut down Luka Doncic in Game 6 down the stretch of a closeout game in Dallas. And then I saw him in the next round will his team against Dallas. And in the second round, they played the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell was going off the first 2 games. And then I saw the second 2 games before he got hurt, he started clamping down on Donovan Mitchell. See, the very special thing about Kawhi is he's very rare, bro. Like, you don't see players like him no more who can play both ways, like Jordan, Kobe. He's a rare breed. KD doesn't play both ways where he has to lock down the other team's best offensive player. Great offensive talent, one of the greatest offensive talents we've ever seen, but there's something to be said when you can also do that on the defensive end. People say that Kawhi doesn't play this, he's not the same defender he once was, when in reality what it is that he's had more offensive responsibility where he has to be able to, you know, give you 25 to 27 points per game and play defense. That's very, very difficult. So you're not going to see him like he was when he first came in the league, just be locked down all the time, because that's just too much energy you're going to waste. So he picks his times to actually D up. But when he chooses to D up, he's still one of the top 3 best defenders in the league, right? So I say Kawhi Leonard definitely. I'm excited to watch him play, but I'm also looking at John Wall. I'm looking at Zion Williamson. I'm looking at him because he left us something too. I think he was averaging 27 points off of 62% field goal shooting before he got injured. So has his jump shot gotten better? Has his conditioning gotten better? He just signed that big Supermax deal this summer, so he's going to have a lot to, you know, own up to as well. So there's a number of players. I can't wait for training camp to start, bro. I can't wait for things to get started. But let me ask this last question. I'm gonna bring people in. Who do you look at right now who came off the playoffs last year who says, okay, they got to really show us something now? Like the person who you look at is like, man, they went out bad last year. Kind of like what Paul George did in the bubble. He had to come back the next year. So who is the guy that you looked at from the playoffs like, okay, I need to see something from him this year? Let me hear it.
There's a couple of people, and this from the teams that played each other. KD, Kyrie, Brown, what's the fella name? The dude that think he Kobe on the Celtics. What's his name? Almost forgot. Jason Tatum. Okay, yeah. Those two. So basically, the teams that played each other, they definitely got to come back and show us something. Hopefully, KD, you know, like your Unc said, like Big Unc said, hopefully he got punched in the stomach hard enough to realize, bro, you got to come play ball. Just because you KD and you can walk in your sleep and average 30 points, that don't mean nothing during playoff time. Like, you need to come with it. Matter of fact, during playoff time, you could probably got to hit 40, 50 some games. You really got to come with it. And as you said before, play both sides of the court. You can't just, you know, have 40, 50 points, but your man hitting 40, 50 points too. You got to play defense. Because from what I saw with KD, I was just like, bruh. Like, we know you good, but bruh, ain't no way in the world you should be hitting 13, 14 points at the end of a game, man. That means you allowed that team to get in your head. You allowed that team to lock you up, and you a superstar. That don't happen to superstars. It don't happen. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I was like, KD, what are we doing? And then Kyrie, hopefully, you know, kind of what Stephen A. Smith says on the air all the time. Hopefully he's back this year, ready to get a bigger contract, because you got to perform to get them big contracts. So hopefully Kyrie's locked in. He coming hungry. He shows us something, right? That'll be nice to see. And then, like I said, when you got Brown and you got Tatum on the Celtics, you know, hopefully Tatum plays like Tatum and not try to be like Kobe. Hopefully Tatum worked on that handle. Hopefully Tatum worked on that jump shot. You know, instead of trying to take it on 4 people, hopefully he done figured out a way to where he plays a lot smarter, and he definitely worked on them handles. And then, you know, with Brown, I hope the chemistry between those two, it works out a lot better for them, because they got to get that figured out. But, you know, at the end of the day, those are really the top 4 players. Now, when it comes to everybody else, like when I think about a player like, you know, Giannis, I feel like Giannis was kind of handicapped this year, but I want to see how he's going to be when he has his full team healthy. Right. Because I felt like when Middleton went down, it was like he had a team, but it was just Giannis facing everybody else. Like, and we already know, no matter how great you are, you need a team to win. Jordan dropped 70, but still lose. So you still need your backup. You still need your teammates. So I kind of see what he's going to do with a healthy team. Zion, I'm telling you, if that man come back with the same, you know, velocity and ferociousness that he had when he was bigger, and he comes back slim with this and worked on his jump shot a little bit better, where it's more, you know, accurate, and he's more dangerous around that mid key line, because we already know he's explosive. So you know we're gonna get to the hoop. But if he created a little jump shot as he, like, you know, like a finesse type of style to his game with that crazy athleticism, that's gonna be crazy to watch too, especially with the roster he has right now. So, hey man, I think the main people that I'm really like, you know, need to come back and show us something is gonna be KD, Kyrie, Brown, Tatum, Giannis, and Middleton, and then of course John Morant and Bane. Those are the players I really want to see come back and show us a little something this year.
All right, man. So let's hear from the audience, man. You know what I'm saying? Continue to hit that like button, man. Who do y'all think? Put in the comment section. Who do y'all feel has the most riding coming back this upcoming season, bro? Let's hear it. Let me hear it. I'm going to drop the link right now for y'all so y'all can come in and cook with us on this beautiful Sunday. I hope everybody's having a blessed day. So, training camp starts in a week, man. I can't believe it, man. I'm so excited about this upcoming year, bro. I'm ready to see people get dunked on, get crossed over, get scored on. I just bought the 2K23, bro. It's live, man. You know what I'm saying?
Salute play for keep. Salute.
Oh, Bruce said I went silent.
I hear you, BJ. I hear you. I don't know if you went silent on his end.
Okay, yeah. I just said I dropped the link for everybody to come in, man. You know, cook. But yeah, training camp starts this week, man. In a week, so I can't wait. And Yeah, man. And we want to also say we're at almost 2,000 subscribers, so we definitely appreciate y'all always supporting the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, bro. Y'all don't understand how much work me and my boy Rick have done over the last year and a half, bro. So we almost at the point where now we're gonna start getting monetized for this thing, man. So we definitely give God the glory for that. But we also thank y'all for always, showing us love and staying plugged in with us. But yeah, the links in the description box. Y'all want to go in and jump in, give y'all thoughts on who's the best player, who's the players gonna come back with the best comeback. Go in and say what y'all gotta say, man. Go through some of these comments. Play for Keep. What's up? The salute, brother. The realest. Appreciate you coming through. Any comments that jump out your mind, Rick?
I'm gonna tell you the first comment that's jumping out. Kawhi. We don't need that nonsense this year. I'm gonna need you to come and win a championship like you always. I'm gonna need you to magically appear, get a championship, and then get hurt again. I ain't gonna be mad at you.
We got Bruce in the building. What's good, Bruce?
Hello, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Yes, sir. Bruce and Dominic. Let's start with Bruce first.
Yes. The player that has the most to prove. I already said it in the comment. John Wall. I hear that you fast. Show me that you fast. I hear that you can shoot. Show me that you can shoot. I hear that you're here to win. Show me that you win. The reason why I say John Wall is because of selfish reasons. I want the Clippers to win that championship. So John Wall has to play well to do it.
Okay. What's good, Dominique?
Yeah, what's good?
What you got, brother? Who you got?
I gotta say probably like Embiid or Harden.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that, you could throw John Wall in there too, but just the fact that all those other guys you named, they already won already. They retired. Their legacy is kind of cemented. They're all in the Hall of Fame. You just talk about KD and Kawhi, but Embiid and Harden, they haven't won yet. So, and they pretty much, most people consider them superstars. So I would say they got the most to prove.
Okay. So let's rewind. So, Bruce, so you already know what I said about Wall. What do you remember about John Wall? What do you remember about him that you think is he going to help the Clippers this year? In your honest opinion.
Yes, because he's gonna bring a change of pace. Because Reggie Jackson and him are different. I think he was a good defender from the allies that I've seen. So he's gonna help with defense because I don't think Reggie Jackson is a good defender. Yeah, so the speed of the game, he can help with that. So if it's the John Wall of early Washington, the Clippers should be fine because Clippers needs a bench, a leader on the bench. He could be the leader of the bench, but you guys said he's gonna start, so let's see.
Okay. And Dominique, you said Joel Embiid, which is really interesting because Embiid, he's never made it to the conference finals in his career, but he's had expectations to make it to that level. You bring in James Harden, who obviously wasn't James Harden last year, but they're expecting that to change this upcoming year. Philly's an interesting team to me. I don't trust the process. I don't believe in the process. I stopped believing it back in 2021 when they lost to Atlanta the way they did. They're just a team I think that's not mentally tough enough when it gets down to the stretch of the games. I don't think James Harden mentally tough enough. I don't think Doc Rivers is smart enough, and I don't think that they have a deep enough team to compete with the Milwaukees, to compete with the Miamis, to compete with the Chicagos, even to an extent. I just think these teams are just better hands down. The Boston Celtics, I think they're just better teams in the Eastern Conference, but I think they're just going to always be offsetting Philadelphia. Rick, what's your opinion about the Sixers, man?
Man, look, I mean, the biggest problem, you said Doc Rivers. I mean, you got Doc Rivers over there. Now, Embiid, here's the thing. At the end of the day, man, if you're a superstar, if you're this great player, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. I think Kobe Bryant told that to LeBron one time. You got to figure it out. I mean, he's so skilled. He's so big, man. And like, he's a true big man in today's era. Like, he's really skilled. It's like, look, man, you at one point, you had Harden on your team. Whether Harden's having a good game or bad game, if you're a superstar, you have to figure it out with that other superstar. And then on top of that, like you said, they have some nice little pieces. I mean, you just have to figure it out. Because like you said, how I look at this from my angle, I think Kawhi Leonard snatched their soul with that jump shot. I think that jump shot, I don't know what it did to him mentally. I don't know what happened, but they show the cameras, he crying. I'm like, look, hey, that was a good game, but you got dusted off, man. You got to dust it off and come back strong. You can't, if anything, use it as energy. Use it to get quicker, faster, stronger. Like, perfect your jump shot. Like, you have to use moments like that, like Kobe did against them Celtics when he got beat. He said, listen to that same song that the Celtics won to every day until he went back to the finals. You got to figure something out, because at the end of the day, man, like the brother said at the bottom, hey, you can't keep calling you a superstar. You ain't. You know what I'm saying? You ain't produced. Because I had a little issue with Giannis at one point. I'm like, okay, we giving him MVPs. Giannis, when you gonna win a chance? He won when I got quiet. Because the problem I have with getting these MVPs is when you ain't even in the finals. Like, at least the way I would look at it, you don't got to necessarily win the finals, but at least make the finals.
Right.
You get that year's MVP. Charles Barkley didn't win it, but he made it to the finals. It's like, okay, yeah, he was the MVP. That's why he got there. Okay, that makes sense. But same thing with what's the guy's name? Joker. Same thing with him. We keep giving you these MVPs. I'm gonna need to see you get it to the finals. Like, I'm tired of giving these decorated accolades and you ain't getting nowhere close to the main goal, which is the NBA Finals. So really, in all reality, man, I just think Embiid needs to, dig deep in himself, be the superstar that everybody say he is, and just show us something. Like, get that Kawhi jump shot out your head, use it for fuel. Let's go.
Hold on. Let me. Can I respond to that real quick?
Jump in.
Go ahead.
All right, so I disagree. I don't think that Kawhi shot snatched the soul out of him. I think maybe at the moment it did, but you got to realize Embiid came into the league. He started playing ball at like 16, like later than Giannis did.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not in his prime in 2019. So they weren't really expected to beat a prime Kawhi Leonard. Some people thought they could beat him, but the best player on the team is not in his prime yet. So they weren't necessarily expected to beat them. They came in as underdogs. So the fact that it took a Game 7 shot like that from Kawhi to beat a Embiid that's not in his prime just speaks to how good Embiid is. But and to BJ's point, when you said they can't hang with the Milwaukees and the Celtics, that's completely false. I think they're better than them teams. I just think that because the Milwaukee have won and Boston went to the conference and went to the championship, people automatically put them ahead of the Sixers. But when you break down the roster and look at them, they're not better than the Sixers. And basketball is weird, man. It's like you got to surround your best player with players that make up for their weaknesses. Like LeBron, if you surround a player with another player who has the same thing as that star player, you take away from that star player. For example, Giannis, he's not a closer. They got a closer in Middleton. Giannis is not a anchor. They got an anchor in Brook Lopez. Giannis is not he's not going to be able to dribble the ball up the court in the playoffs. They got a guy to do that in Drew Holiday. Giannis is not the best perimeter defender. They got so Giannis has the perfect team surrounded around all his weaknesses. Like LeBron James, what does he do? He gets closers to be on his team. Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade. You surround your Embiid. Embiid doesn't have many weaknesses like those guys. So Embiid's weaknesses, like you said, the mental mental aspect. He might not be as mentally tough in those moments. So what did they do? They went out and got PJ Tucker, Montrezl Harrell, guys like that who are gritty, mental toughness. They took the ball out of Embiid's hands like a guy like James Harden. So Embiid don't gotta be Kobe Bryant. He can be a big man. You know what I'm saying? So they pretty much surrounded Embiid with players to fill in his weaknesses. So this year will tell you more than any other year.
I guess you're a Sixers fan. You said that Embiid weakness could be mental, but one of the greatest mental deficient is James Harden.
Yeah,
So
no,
how is he helping James? How
no,
is he
no, no.
helping Embiid?
I'm talking about Embiid's not as far as mental, like he can't close games. Like he's a closer. He can close games. He's clutch. He's not like Giannis. His deficiency is
Giannis cannot close games.
he just need an enforcer on his team, like gritty enforcers who can knock down some 3-point shots, and who's pretty much gonna be those guys that enforce things. That's what he needs. That's what
PJ Tucker does that.
PJ Tucker's like that. Montrezl Harrell's like that. You got a couple guys like that.
Montrezl Harrell in the bubble. PJ Tucker last year in Miami. So how you gonna help?
Again, that's what I'm saying. Those guys are there to play a specific role. It's not like they're going to be all-star. The Sixers don't need another all-star on their team. They don't need another. They got a point guard, elite point guard. They got a couple wings, and they got a big. That's a complete team to me. A point guard, a wing, and a big. And then a dynasty is when you add a 6-man, like a Lamar Odom. That's a dynasty. But go ahead.
Nah, so I'm gonna let you finish, and I'm gonna jump back in.
Right. So yeah, man, this basketball thing is a science. You got to really build around your best players' weaknesses, and that's something the Sixers have never done. Like they had Ben Simmons as the second best player. Ben Simmons does not. They don't really mesh well. They're both talented. They can win you a lot of regular season games, but when it gets to the playoffs, when those weaknesses get exposed, they don't cover each other's weaknesses.
Okay. So there's a few things I want to kind of ask. So the first thing you said is that the Sixers weren't ready to beat a prime Kawhi.
Nah.
No, the Sixers were destined to go to the finals that I remember that year. The Sixers were looked at to be a finals contender. They are looking to get by many of the sports bettors, by a lot of these people on the sports anchors, all these people on TV, television, ESPN, Undisputed. Toronto was not looked at as a team to win the championship by any means.
You can't really go by
Kawhi's offset that because what he brought to the team. The Raptors were looked at as mentally weak when they had DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. They were always that team that was scared of LeBron James. They were always that team getting bounced out in the conference finals or the second round. They were not looked at as a team to win a championship over Philadelphia. Philadelphia, that was the most talented team that the Sixers ever had. They had a trio with Embiid, Simmons, and Jimmy Butler on that team. They had shooting with JJ Redick. That was the deepest roster they had, even to this day. So that Sixer team was more than capable of being the Raptors. It didn't happen because of the last shot. That's to Rick's point. Said I think that did kind of break them, so that's why they split that team up. So they got rid of Jimmy Butler. So if they had kept Jimmy Butler to this day, the Sixers probably would have a finals appearance. But since then, they haven't been back ever since because Jimmy Butler was their toughness to that team. They don't have no real toughness. They don't have no mental toughness to that team. And
they do now.
You say what?
They do now.
With PJ Tucker, yeah, they do now. But it would have been nice to have him about, say, 3-4 years ago. He's 37 years old now.
That's
He's not
true.
as impactful as he was when he was with Milwaukee. He was starting to actually decline last year with Miami.
But you got to remember, they have Embiid. They don't need his impact in the ways that he impacted things in Miami. All they need is that grittiness. That's all Embiid needs is somebody that's going to be an enforcer. That grittiness. That's all he needs. You know what I'm saying? And you can say the sports bettors and certain guys like that thought that the Sixers were going to win, but Toronto Raptors were favored in that series.
They were not favored. They were not favored. The Sixers had all they need to beat the Raptors. The
That's
Raptors
true.
had no all-stars. Kawhi Leonard was the only superstar on that team.
That's
Kyle
true,
Lowry was Kyle Lowry
Yeah.
was a borderline star.
but you got go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
But no, but you got to remember, this was Embiid and Simmons' second time ever in the playoffs. The first
understand.
time they were in the playoffs, they got eliminated in the second round by. Imagine people think you so great that your second time ever in the playoffs, they expecting you to go to the finals. They don't even expect that. Like that, Jordan didn't even do that. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, none of those guys. It took those guys 7 years to get to the 7 years.
Now,
You can't expect Embiid to go to the finals or win the finals his second time in the playoffs ever.
no, I didn't
And the
say win the
guy
I'm
who
not saying
started
win the finals. I'm saying like they were contenders though. They
no
were
no
a serious threat to get to like the Raptors were not world beaters at that time. They
no,
were
but
not they were
the
not.
the Raptors had a perfectly constructed team. They had veterans. They had a superstar who was prime and who was ready. They had experience. They had a well balanced team. The Sixers did too. They just were not ready yet mentally.
Oh, but okay, but let me tell you this. Let me ask you this question though. Again, the Sixers were not heavily favored. The Raptors were not heavily favored with the Sixers. That series went 7 games. That series could have went either way. Whoever won that series was going to beat that Milwaukee team. That's what I truly believe that, and that's what happened with the Raptors. They came and beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, you said something else interesting. You said that the Sixers have everything elite in every position. Therese Maxey is not elite point guard. He's a
No,
second year. He's a second year guy going into his third year. He's not
no, they
elite.
don't. They don't have everything elite in every position. They just have what they need to complement Embiid to win. And Embiid is ready. He's like prime. He's 28. He's in his prime. He's ready right now. Like when Kobe was 28, that was when he first went to the finals with the Boston Celtics after Shaq. That like he's at that point right now. He had to learn how to win. He had to learn how to play the game. Like he started playing at 16. That's later than Giannis even started playing. He had
That's
to
true.
actually learn how to play.
That's true. But again, at the same token, we have to also hold this account because they did have that 2021 against the Hawks, bro. That showed me that they're mentally fragile. There is no excuse to see what happened to an Atlanta Hawks team, which was that was, again, you want to say favored. The Sixers were favored against that Hawks team. They had one guy in Trae Young who pretty much offset that entire series. That showed me the Sixers are mentally weak.
Right.
Then you bring in Doc Rivers or Glenn Rivers, who has been notorious with blowing 2-0 leads, 3-1 leads. I don't have faith in the Sixers because what Rick just said, Glenn Rivers is not the coach to win championships. And I think James Harden, he's off for trial. I need to see what he's going to look like after what he looked like last year in the playoffs.
Well,
Not
my last rebut to that is
Go ahead.
one. You could say Doc Rivers is not the guy to win a championship, but the fact is he has a championship and he won with the Celtics. So I'm not saying he's the greatest coach in the world or he's a top tier coach, but he's not as bad as people make him out to be. I know there's a lot of Clippers fans. They take a crap on Doc for whatever, for obvious reasons, but I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be. I think people are going a little too far with the Doc Rivers bash, and I do agree he's not a perfect coach. He's a flawed coach, but he's not as bad. He can win a championship, and he has proven that. So you can't take that away from him.
No, but he's had to have ultra talent to even compete, bro. Like you gotta understand.
But he had that.
When he had that in Boston, he never went past the Clippers teams. He never even made it past the second round.
But who did he get eliminated by?
No, but I'm saying like he's had chances after chances to prove what type of coach. And if you go up against a Miami Heat team, what against Eric Spoelstra? If you go against the Boston Celtics with Ime Udoka, if you go with Milwaukee Bucks, I don't think the coach from Milwaukee's Budenholzer is not as an elite coach. He's a good coach, but I think when you face those two Miami teams in Boston, they're just going to outcoach him, and that's Doc's problem. His entire he gets outcoached.
And let me tell you something about the Boston Celtics. That team is a team that was struggling. Going into last season, people barely had them making the playoffs. They got hot at the end of the season when a lot of teams were winding down, ready to gear up for the playoffs. They got hot, and then they carried over into the playoffs. So they were playing up to potential, but they're notoriously known for not playing up to their potential. Especially the past 2 seasons, they've been struggling. You know what I'm saying? The Sixers, Embiid been destroying them in the regular season. But
As
you know,
as Embiid play to his potential.
yes, in the regular season, yeah, but he hasn't played in the playoffs to his potential because of injury.
Injury. Okay.
No, I
Against
don't. I don't agree.
Like
Atlanta, was it injury?
We can't give. We can't give
he
him
had
that.
a torn meniscus in that Hawks series
Oh, okay.
The
in
only
his knee.
the 2000 the Raptors, Kawhi was hurt just like Embiid was hurt. I'm not
Right.
going for that whole he only played this. I'm not going for that because
But
again,
right.
every people get hurt, man. People are if you out there playing, you out there playing. Now this year was a little different. He had like 3 different things wrong with him, so I'm not gonna kill him. But there's been times he's shrunk. He's shrunk in the playoffs. And this is a guy who I had picked as the MVP. But
I mean, he was right. He was the MVP. He got robbed.
But the reason why, again, guys like Giannis, I give an edge over is because of this. Embiid, he should be better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. But he's not because he doesn't have that motor and he doesn't have that heart to destroy everybody in his path. I don't see it. I think he has all the skills and the tools and the talent. But guys like a Giannis Antetokounmpo have surpassed him because they want it.
Yeah,
More.
I think you got to put Giannis over Embiid by default, just because he might have had one more season of dominance more than Embiid. But Giannis, like I said, Giannis has had a team perfectly built around Giannis. And the thing about Giannis is Giannis has so many flaws. If you take away one of those 3 players, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, or Drew Holiday, if you take away just one of them, he's not going to be able to win. He's not going to be able to overcome that, especially in the playoffs, just because he has so many flaws in his game. But they're hidden by the fact that he has this perfect team built around him. If you take away Drew Holiday, first of all, he's never won before Drew Holiday. You take away Drew Holiday, he's not going to win. You take away Chris Middleton, he's not going to win. Like you saw this year, you take away Brook Lopez, like it was in the beginning of the season from last year. You see how his defense fell all the way off. You see how when he played Embiid, you saw the difference between Giannis and Embiid without Brook Lopez. He couldn't guard Embiid. He couldn't do nothing with Embiid. The Sixers destroyed them before the All-Star break, and that was before Harden was even on the team. You put those 2 dudes up against each other on an even playing field, like when they got 2 perfectly teams built around them, Embiid is going to beat Giannis. Giannis is better than Embiid.
Hold on, brother. I saw, and I'm gonna let Rick chime into this because I saw Giannis beat Embiid on his home court too. So it wasn't like Giannis Embiid destroyed Giannis. That's not true.
But again,
all, Embiid
that was when Brook Lopez came back.
Embiid has more star power than Giannis has ever. Listen to the 2 names you just said. You said Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Those are not star players in this. They're average good role players for what they do.
Look,
but they're not. Hold on. Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler are better overall players than Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. And Embiid has had both. He's had great teams.
That's not how basketball works. This is what I'm saying. My basketball IQ is incredible. Like, that's not how basketball works. Basketball don't work just putting star players on a team. That's why the Brooklyn Nets are failing. Basketball works when you surround your best player or your best players with complementary pieces.
Right, and he's had that too. He's had that. Not shooters. He's had defenders. He's had all that, bro.
No, he doesn't need.
Say that Embiid has never had a full team around him, man.
That's not true. I know that's not true. I know that's not true, but he hasn't had a team built around him. They were trying to build around Simmons and Embiid, and they kind of was confused about that. They got rid of Simmons. Now they have a clear direction on who to build around. So now they started building around Embiid. You can't build around two different players like that when both of those players are not really complementary themselves. And you're trying to build around both of those guys. You can't do that. You have to build around one centerpiece.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, again, Giannis, without Giannis, there is no Milwaukee Bucks, man. He went into that situation. Hold on. He went into that situation in Milwaukee where he had no real talent around him. And even before Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, well, more so Drew Holiday was even there, Giannis still took his team in the playoffs. He was still leading his team. It wasn't like Giannis wasn't doing anything. He was still winning MVPs before Drew Holiday got there.
But there is no criteria for MVP. Anyone can win an MVP. Jokic won an MVP and he was a 6th seed. There's no criteria for MVP. And that's not really saying much. and it's not saying much because he didn't win. He didn't win nothing.
He
Before
won more.
Hold
Hold on. He did more than what Embiid did, because check it out. Giannis went to the conference finals in 2019. So
and he didn't do as
actually
good
was.
as Embiid.
Hold on. He was
Really
actually.
true.
He's been a better player. He's been ranked higher than Embiid
Yeah, by who?
by the entire league.
If you ask,
Embiid has dropped the ball.
hold on.
Embiid has dropped the ball more than enough times, man.
Hold
He's
on.
not been past the second round.
If you
since
ask
he's
the
been in
top,
league.
if you ask the top tier players in this league, who is a better player between Embiid and Giannis? If I ask KD right now, if I ask Kawhi Leonard, who do you think they're going to say?
Bro, that could go either way.
I'm just saying.
I know the angle you're taking. I'm gonna let Rick go right now, but I know the angle you're trying to take. You're trying to go straight to players because you know a lot of players don't respect his skill set.
Why is that?
But you cannot deny the evidence. You cannot deny the results. You're talking about a two-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, won a championship, dragged in a losing franchise like the Milwaukee Bucks, who've never won anything since 1971. They are not a team that's been just like the Lakers, who've just been bringing in guys to help. Giannis has been the anchor to that Milwaukee Bucks team the same way Embiid's been the anchor to that Sixers team. It's just that Giannis has excelled more. You have to
but Giannis hasn't been the anchor though. That's false. That was Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is the anchor to their defense.
Man.
When Brook Lopez was out this year, their defense fell off a cliff.
All right, I still been stuck on. Okay, I'm going back in the conversation now.
Am I lying? Did their defense not fall off a cliff when Brook Lopez was injured?
Is not no anchor, man.
Dude, he made all defensive team as a center.
So I want to go back to this.
Hold on, you think Giannis is going to be able to guard Embiid?
I answer it, but I'm gonna go back. I want to go back because I didn't get to respond to you. So I want to go back to when you said. Now you were saying that Embiid is what was his flaws again?
I think his flaws is durability. I think he's not. How can I say it? He's not gritty enough. Like he'll go at you, but he just don't have that grit that Giannis has. So he needs guys with that grit on his team.
Okay.
He don't have that. Sometimes he lets his foot off the gas. Like if he dominating you, he'll let his foot off the gas. Like he did in the MVP race. Dominating the whole league and then just let his foot off the gas at the end thinking he got the MVP. And then he allowed the voters to kind of rob him. So, and it's the same thing he do in playoff series. He was beating the Raptors and then he let his foot off the series when everybody, the Sixers going to win. Then he let his foot off the gas. So he don't have that grit and that motor to me.
So when BJ said he don't have that grit, that motor, if that's his, deficiency, that's nothing we can teach. You just gotta have that in you. You gotta want to come and play and win. So if we're using your own words, if he's the one taking the foot off the gas, I can't coach it. I can't teach that. And then on top of that, let's go back to when you and BJ were talking. Now you said that basically like when he had Jimmy Butler and all that roster, like BJ was saying, they were favored, like they were contenders that year.
Right.
Leonard surprised everybody. Exactly. And at the end of the day, if he would have missed a shot, it really came down to a shot. Because the Sixers basically could have beat them. It could have went either way. It's just that it came down to a shot. And so when I made the comment, get the shot out your head, it's deeper than just the statement itself. I'm basically saying it took y'all 7 games to even get to the shot. Like y'all were warring, y'all were going back and forth. He had a legitimate team at that point.
He did, but he wasn't ready himself.
And but here's the thing. I'm using what you just told me. So if he's taking his foot off the gas in those moments, who can control that but him?
No. What I'm saying is that's why you surround him with guys who complement those flaws. Like Giannis. Giannis is not a closer.
So that year,
you can't teach ability to close. Either you're born with that or you're not.
So here's one thing, man.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Rick, can I say something about that?
Go ahead.
That's not true that Giannis doesn't close. That's a false narrative. We
Okay.
just seen this man close in the finals when he had a 50-piece and put away the Phoenix Suns in a closeout game. I seen him in Brooklyn when they faced Kevin Durant. He hit a closing shot. So that is not true. I also saw him this past year against the Sixers where he blocked Embiid's shot at the rim and actually ended the game. So that's not true. He doesn't close. That's not true. But go ahead, Rick.
No, all I was gonna say was, and I'm just using what he's saying. So if you know, just as an Embiid fan, you know that Embiid takes his foot off the gas. But at that point in time, when he was facing against Kawhi and Toronto's Raptors, and we obviously, all of us that watched those games know that it could have went either way. It was a back and forth series. Then at the end of the day, not only did he have the pieces at the time, it literally came down to a shot. And so you also made a comment. You said, well, his mental. That's the main reason why I said, get the shot out your head. Y'all had a good series. You just didn't win. It happens. So come back next year. Come with the same tenacity.
They tried to.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is this. At the end of the day, he's been in the league long enough to show us something. I mean, he has MVP numbers. We know he's capable. But you literally just said he takes his foot off the gas, which means, alluding to what BJ is saying, I can't teach this.
Right, but that's that. But y'all proving my point. Y'all pretty much saying what I'm saying.
Find a way to no, we not. You find a way to win.
Right, but everybody, no player is perfect. If Embiid was perfect, he'd be the greatest player of all time. Only person
got perfect.
The closest people to perfect is probably Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Nobody is perfect at the end of the day. All of these guys need help. It's just some guys might be a little bit.
I can tell you love the Sixers.
No. I'm just a basketball. I'm good at analyzing the game. Like it just is what it is. So that's what I'm saying. Like you need to surround your best player with the the players that can make up for their flaws. That's what I'm saying. No one will win if you don't do that. Especially in this league, when you got a bunch of talented teams. Nobody's going to win if the player is not surrounded with guys who complement their flaws.
What happened in 2021?
Well, I don't know which who did they play in that year?
When they lost to the Hawks.
So Embiid was injured. He had a meniscus tear. The team that he had was not built around him. The team was Embiid and Simmons, and it pretty much wasn't a complimentary team to him.
So Tobias Harris is not.
So they were up. Well, hold on. Weren't they up? Were they up 2-0 or 3-1 in that series?
Yeah, they were up, but you gotta realize they're winning games. They're winning games because of their talent.
So so this is what I don't understand. You want to give them credit when things are going well. As I just asked you a straight up question, I said, how are they up? You said because of their talent. But then a Hawks team who was definitely not favored in that series whatsoever, who had a guy Trae Young who basically took over that series, because instead of giving Trae Young credit for taking over that series, you want to say that Sixers didn't have this, that, and the other. You did the same thing in 2019 when we just told you that the Sixers were destined to get to the finals that year, and had they beat the Raptors and they would have beat the Bucks, they would have got to the finals. Instead of giving Kawhi credit and saying he took over that series, you want to say Embiid, he was in his second year. So there's always something that you're trying to add on to when Embiid fails, but when they're doing well, when things are going good, you're saying because of their talent. At the end of the day, he's the best player. He's going to get the blame. Just like you want to give him credit, he's going to get the blame.
No, I agree. He's not great enough to overcome his flaws in that moment. And his teammate, and he don't have the right complementary pieces to make up for his flaws. And he's not great enough to overcome those flaws. So that's why he loses.
But Trae Young didn't have that. Trae Young didn't have a team surrounded with a bunch of Trae Young. You want to talk about somebody who, if he's not on the court, they fall apart. Trae Young's on the court, the Atlanta Hawks fall apart. And he still found a way. If that's part of you being great, you be able to overcome what's against you. You're not going to have a perfect scenario all the time. So,
well, Giannis does.
Bro, again, Giannis, okay, but what you're doing, you're trying to you're trying to say that Giannis has so much more help than Joel Embiid has had. That's not
No,
true.
it's not more help. It's more
Or better
complementary
pieces that
pieces.
fit. And I've seen Joel Embiid, them Sixers teams has had complementary pieces. He had JJ Redick as a shooter. He had Jimmy Butler as a tough guy. He's had Matisse Thybulle. He's had
Tobias
they're
Harris.
bringing all these guys in to help him out. And you're telling me that they don't have a good enough team. Now I agree with this. Their bench is not that great. Last year's bench was not that great,
All right.
but they have a very good starting five. And I'm saying Embiid should be good enough to get his team to at least the conference finals. And I've seen him in situations where he had the upper hand, he dropped the ball.
No,
That's
I agree.
That's
I
what I'm
agree.
saying.
That's why you got to. But again, he has competent complementary pieces, but those complementary pieces don't fit him the best. Like you got a JJ Redick. JJ Redick was great. That's why they were such a dominant duo. That was a complementary piece. But again, who else was there as a complementary piece? You had Jimmy Butler that came in halfway through the season. You expecting them to win a championship. Even Kobe couldn't do that with Gasol. They had to wait another season to win a championship.
But they got to the finals.
They got to the finals, but they didn't win. And then again,
No. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there. Because you just said something.
Where was Kobe?
Yourself in the foot. Dominique, you just shot yourself in the foot. You said that Kobe they didn't win the finals. I said they got there though. That's my whole point. And B should be good enough to at least get his team to the damn conference finals.
Hold on, but where was Kobe Bryant in his career?
Oh my
Where was
God,
Embiid in his career?
All
these attachments. I can't do it, bro.
You shot yourself.
I'm just saying that matters. We can't
Just say he's not that guy yet, man. Just
hold on. No. He wasn't that guy yet. I'm saying he is now.
Okay, check it out. He's that guy now. We're gonna see it.
But that's the whole point. That's why I'm saying he has the most to prove. Going back to the point of the video.
Where you go?
See, that's what happens when you start capping. Bruce, you still there?
Yes,
I
I'm
love
here.
Dominique, man, but come on, man. No. Go ahead, Bruce.
I mean, I have nothing to say. I can defend Embiid. So
Exactly. And again, he's making me seem like I'm an Embiid hater, man. I had Embiid as my MVP. But come on, dude. Like this, first of all, the Sixers had a good team in 2019, bro. You want to know their roster?
Let's hear it.
Bro, so they had Tobias Harris. They had Al Horford. They had Ben Simmons.
He went to the finals this year, I think. Horford. Go ahead.
Horford was he's a pretty damn good piece. They had Tobias Harris. They had Matisse Thybulle, who's a great defender. They had JJ Redick. They had Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? They had Shake Milton. They had Josh Richardson. This whole team is filled with guys who are 6'3", long wings, athletic, and you got Joel Embiid, who's more than capable of being an MVP. Bro, no. This roster was good enough to get to the finals.
And
I don't care if Embiid was in his second or third year.
Joel in the league at that time, at that point?
Huh?
Embiid, how many years was he in the league at that point?
He got it. He was in the league 3 years in 2019.
He ain't no rookie. And you got your second year out the way. Hey.
Right. Come on, man. We gotta be honest about this Embiid, man.
No, we gotta be honest, but we also gotta have some context too. Like it's not just because he's not that guy. Like how people try to make it seem like he's not that guy. He's not a top tier guy.
I don't think nobody on this panel will say he's not that guy. As a matter of fact, BJ is the main component saying he should have been MVP. We love Embiid.
Bro, also they had check that who else they had. They had Wilson Chandler, they had Robert Covington. Robert Covington's gonna be big with us this year with the Clippers. They had Corey Brewer, who's a lock. They had Markelle Fultz.
Yo, Corey Brewer. Come on, man.
I said Corey Brewer, and then I said Robert Covington.
He was on a 10-day contract.
Yeah, but he was a little older. But I'm saying he's still a solid player. Again, you talking about they starting five.
Markelle Fultz. Where's Markelle Fultz at today?
He's in Orlando balling out because the Sixers messed up his shot, but he got it back.
Oh, the Sixers messed up his shot.
Yeah, the Sixers messed up their shot just like they messed up Ben Simmons' confidence.
He didn't say that. Out of his own mouth, he said the Sixers had nothing to do with it.
The Sixers organization, to me, starting from the top down, is why things are like run amok because they don't have no order.
No, it's not that they don't have no order. It's that it's so much pressure. That's what Daryl Morey just said in an interview last week. There's players that can't play on a team because it just the fan base and how much pressure it is. When you expected to go to the finals in your second year, that's how much pressure it is on those dudes.
Bro, that's
The dudes is
basketball.
buckling from that.
Wait a minute. So hold on. Ain't that what you want as a great to have pressure on you?
Yeah, but you want to have pressure on you, but not everybody can handle that pressure. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's why we're saying Embiid is not. There's levels to this. That's what.
No, Embiid is handling the pressure, but it's the other.
You're proving our point, dude.
No,
like
it's the other guys. It's the other guys. I'm responding to you saying that the Sixers did something to Markelle Fultz. I'm saying it's the pressure that's getting to these dudes like him and Ben Simmons. They folding under that pressure. When you passing up open jump shots, that's the pressure. You don't do that in practice. In practice, we see is no pressure. We see the dude hitting half court threes. When you fold, it's the pressure that's getting to them because the fans and the media is creating an atmosphere where they're expected to win literally their first year. They got clowned for losing in the second round their first time in the playoffs. Simmons was a rookie. They got clowned. Some teams don't even make the playoffs. LeBron didn't make the playoffs.
That's Philadelphia for you, but that's just what it is. Like Philadelphia is a tough city, but that's not. They're not what they still supported that team. They didn't stop supporting them until what Ben Simmons did what he did. But just like I know Philadelphia, they're a city that they're going to give you a hard time, but they also going to be a team that's going to ride or die for you. So they supported this. They support the Sixers. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Bruce, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, because I like the reason why I'm asking Bruce this question is because he gonna fact check the hell out of me. Plus, he's been around long. Bruce, how old was Magic Johnson when he won his first championship?
19, I think.
19 or 20 years around there, and then the way he won it is that the season when not Wilt
Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar went down.
Yeah, Kareem went down in the finals. They won that game, but Kareem went down. So.
Okay, so here's the point that I'm coming at because our friend loves context. Here's the point that I'm making. Now, of course, I'm not comparing Embiid and Magic. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm basically saying is that Magic Johnson had this in his first year in the league and took over. You can't coach that. He came in, the main man went down. The big cap said, "Look, I got it. This is my first year in the league. Let's win this championship." He said that. When did
Kareem go down?
You said.
When did Kareem go down? What game was that?
I'm not comparing playing styles.
You are.
Here's what I'm comparing right here. You're basically saying that it's not a shot thing. You're basically saying that it's about the pieces and things of that nature. So my thing is this: if we go back to when he had the Butler, all these shooters on his team, like the whole roster, just like Magic had a roster. Magic was in his first year, right? So that means going off of your context, your own definition, players need more time to get ready for the playoffs.
Was Magic the main guy on his team? First year?
You said that the Sixers were talented.
What are you talking about? He won the Finals MVP.
Yo, wait, what game did Kareem go down?
Bro, it does no. I'm not gonna let you do that, bro. No, you can't do that.
You said context. I'm giving you context. Now
I know, but it's a false equivalency. What game did
I'm trying to work with you.
Yeah, I'm working with you, bro. What game did Kareem go down?
Hey, go ahead. Go.
Tim, okay, I got a better one for you, brother. I got a better one for you. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the second greatest player of all time on his team.
Bruce.
Yes, I'm listening.
What? How old was Tim Duncan? How old was Tim Duncan when he won his first title?
Oh, I don't know, but probably 21, 22. I don't know, 24, something like that.
They're not their proms. That's
97. 97. He came in the league in 97, and he won his title in 99. That's 2 years, right?
24.
Okay. So he was still in his second year. He won his championship. And this is when David Robinson didn't win anything until he got Tim Duncan. So again, you can slice it how you want to slice it, Dominique. At the end of the day, just because you're a certain age or you in your certain year does not mean it's impossible to at least take your team to the conference finals, bro. It's not, again, just like Joel Embiid. He shoots himself in the foot. He stops himself. That's why I'm so hard on him, because he should be better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah. But he's not, because he stops himself.
Oh, my bad, BG. Go ahead.
No, all I said was that Giannis and B should be better than Giannis. That's why I'm so hard on him because he continuously stops himself from being as great as he could be. This year was his best year, hands down, as far as being in shape, as far as being focused, not messing around. I was proud of Embiid, but we not going to take away credit from Giannis by saying, "Oh, he hasn't had the team." Embiid's never had the team that Giannis has had, or he didn't have the pieces around that Giannis, and that's why Giannis is doing what he's doing. And then you said Brook Lopez is the anchor to the Bucks, bro. So you take Giannis off that team. Where are the Milwaukee Bucks?
No. I didn't say he was the best player on the team.
No,
He's the defensive anchor.
Anchor.
Yeah, he's the defensive anchor.
What does that mean?
That means that he plays the most important defensive position on the team, which is the center spot. That's the most important defensive position in basketball. The center, that's the anchor, like the middle linebacker in football. He's the anchor, and that's not Giannis. That's Brook Lopez.
So let's just say this. Okay, so we have to go through history, bro. We got to pick through everybody. Every team, every great player's had a championship team. We got to go through everybody. We got to condemn everybody then for having an actual team around you. You can't take away pieces. You can't say because Brook Lopez plays his role that takes away from Giannis's greatness.
No. It's not taking away from Giannis's greatness. It's just adding context. Like I think that's what like casuals do. Like they don't add context to things. They just state things like it's like everyone is in a vacuum. Like no, everyone is not playing on it. That's like saying Dirk Nowitzki's championship weighs the same as Kevin Durant's championship when he was with the Warriors. No, it's context to it. You gotta add context. It's not a vacuum.
Giannis did the same, bro. Giannis did the same thing. That's why I'm not understanding. You just said it. You just said that's like adding Dirk Nowitzki. I'm gonna let you go, Bruce. After this, I'm sorry. You said Dirk Nowitzki is not the same as Kevin Durant. So I'm guessing you're meaning that Dirk Nowitzki's held more weight. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So that's a fact. But Giannis did the exact same thing. He took a team that was the same as Dallas as 11, and he took them to the finals, and he closed out the game in a game 6 against the Phoenix Suns, who had more talent, who were deeper.
Well, no, that's not the same thing. You got to remember.
That is the same thing.
Yo, hold on. Dirk Nowitzki beat Kobe. I think he beat KD in the Thunder. He beat LeBron James' super team.
Point. I said the team that he had was complementing to the team that Dallas had. That's why it was such a big deal. That's why players were so. That's why it was so talked about that Giannis didn't put a super team together. He did it he had a homegrown team that they built. So that's why it's the same thing as the Dallas Mavericks in 11. That's the same thing as Kawhi in 19.
Well, I think
it's only a select few that's done that.
No, I agree. That's why I put Giannis championship up there because he didn't need these crazy superstars on his team to win. He didn't need a super team in the age where everybody was joining super teams. He done it with just complementary pieces, which is impressive.
I guess that's why I'm saying though, bro. Like what
I'm not dissing Giannis. I'm not saying Giannis. I'm not dissing Giannis. I'm just going back to what the topic is. You was questioning Embiid, and I was giving you context, and we was bringing Giannis. We was comparing it with Giannis, and I was saying Giannis had a complimentary team where Embiid didn't. But I'm not saying that Giannis' championship wasn't impactful or it wasn't meaningful. I don't take nothing away from Giannis. I think Giannis is an all-time great already.
So Embiid just has the most to prove this year.
That's what I'm getting at. Embiid is on that level with those guys, but he hasn't gotten it done yet. And this year, he don't have an excuse. He has a complimentary team around him. So, anything less than a conference finals, to me, anything less than winning a championship is a failure. But, realistically, they should at least get to the conference finals.
Okay, go ahead.
So, go ahead.
So let's compare. There's another guy we can compare Joel Embiid to. Let's compare Joel Embiid to Jimmy Butler. Who had the better teammates? When Jimmy Butler went to Miami and Joel Embiid in Philly. Jimmy Butler went to Miami. He had more success than Joel Embiid.
What year are we talking about?
Last season. Let's say last season.
I want to say Embiid had the better teammates.
Okay. So, and Jimmy Butler was injured. He missed like 57 games. 57 games during the season. So that proves that if Embiid was playing with Miami, do you think Miami goes to the conference finals? Okay, he left. Yeah.
Well, you can continue, Bruce.
What I'm saying is Jimmy Butler made the best that he could while injured, and he went to conference finals, game 7. Embiid had more talents around him. He has Aris, who's getting 36 millions, like rich contract. So talented. I heard that he was athletic, steady.
Look, how many Embiid didn't play the first 2 games of that series? You know that, right?
How many Butler miss?
None. He played all the games in that series.
Really? Okay.
I believe so. You can fact check that.
Didn't Sixers have a MVP on the team? Right? Won the top 75? I don't remember Jimmy Butler playing with the top 75.
Yeah, but was he playing like an MVP or a top 75?
You said Doc Rivers won a championship in 2008. We shouldn't forget about it. Was he coaching? Was he coaching like he was in 2008?
No, but you still playing a team. You still playing a contender without your best player.
Wait a minute. No. Timeout. Hell no. Hell no. Timeout. First off, Miami, do you understand their roster, bro? The roster that the Heat have? How many G League players got called up in the starting lineup?
Yeah, that's the same thing with the Sixers. Paul George is a G League player.
No,
I mean,
they have 5
Paul
different. The Heat have Max Strus. They have Gabe Vincent. They have Caleb Martin. They have DeAndre Dedmon. Those are 4 guys who get heavy minutes on the Miami Heat. Not to mention, Jimmy Butler the last 3 seasons has been doing more with less. He in the bubble, he took a team that was not favored and took down a Boston Celtics team in that bubble, and then took 2 games off the Lakers. That was the Lakers in their best. Gave them 2 games. So this notion you just said it that Joel Embiid had a better team than Jimmy Butler.
He asked me who had better players. I didn't say he didn't say who had the better team. Who had more continuity or
he's had more help. Let's go with that. Joel Embiid's had more help.
It's not about matching up star players. It's about continuity.
That's not true, players, bro. That's not true. Miami roster changed it.
Miami Heat is the team that had multiple G League players, man.
Let me ask you a question. Who had more talent? Who had more talent? The Nets or the Celtics? With KD and Kyrie or Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
You talking about just with those 2 players or the entire team?
Yeah, just all around more talent.
Let's take a look. If we're talking about the full starting 5,
Seth Curry, Andre Drummond.
And then you got the starting 5 for the Celtics. You have Marcus Smart, you have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Robert Williams. So I would give it to Brooklyn, but you also got to remember too, the players that came in halfway through the season. And then you have a coach in Steve Nash. I'm trying to tell you with the Sixers, same thing. They don't have a coach built for the playoffs. I'm telling you,
I can't agree with that.
He won for 7 years, bro. I know this dude like the back of my hand. He's not going to lead the Sixers to no championship.
But what's to say that he's not going to do what he did in Boston in 2007?
What did Boston have?
Did they have a Kevin? I don't see Kevin Garnett walking through that door. I don't see
Ray. They got a guy in Joel Embiid who's as good of a talent as Kevin Garnett.
Bro,
they're different players, but Embiid does things that Kevin Garnett can't do.
Bro, again, you're downplaying the talent thing. You're just focused on. Let's be honest. Most of these teams have been going off of winning off of talent. The last 10 seasons, Golden State, the Lakers, They've been going off of talent, bro.
I think
You're saying the same thing I'm
Giannis is the only one that's really just like a
Giannis and
traditional
Kawhi.
team.
Giannis and Kawhi. That's it.
You're saying the same thing I'm saying though.
But
I don't know
if
what
you're
you're
saying,
saying,
hold
bro,
on,
'cause you
but if you're saying that the Sixers were talented at one point in the years we're talking about, then why couldn't they win?
Because they, first of all, when you talk about they ran into better teams. They might have more talent, but they weren't the better team. It's the better team that when talent can win you regular season games, but you have to be a team to win in the playoffs.
But Atlanta was not more talented, was not a better team than Philly, bro. They weren't.
Right. But you had Ben Simmons, right?
Here we
Who
go.
was playing historically bad. I'm talking about historically low numbers at the free throw line. Worse than Shaq.
Mm.
And that's your main ball handler. Shooting free throws worse than Shaq.
What about Embiid?
Embiid
Say something
tore-
bad about Embiid.
Thank
Say
you.
something
That's what
bad
I'm
about
saying.
Embiid.
That's what I'm
Embiid
saying,
tore Embiid tore meniscus, and he
Yeah,
wasn't
here we go.
able
See,
to play. He wasn't great enough to overcome that.
that's the injury excuse of Embiid. Embiid
It's not
fans,
injury.
it's
It is
always
what
the
it is.
injury excuse.
It is what it is. Embiid wasn't great enough to overcome it.
What about the shots that he missed? The clock shots. What about when you
Embiid
were leading
wasn't
and
great.
Embiid started shooting threes?
Yo, I don't give excuses for guys. I tell it how it is. Embiid was not great
Tell
enough to
something bad
overcome
about
that.
Embiid about outside of the injury.
I just said it. He wasn't great enough to overcome the things that were going against him, and that's is as simple as that.
So was it only Simmons because you lost when you lost to the Hawks? Was it
No, it wasn't
one of the
only Simmons. It wasn't only Simmons, but I'm looking at the totality of it. It was
I'm
Embiid as
just
well.
saying we gotta give credit to. I think we're focusing too much on Embiid didn't have this instead of giving the other players credit for beating them. Kawhi beating them in 19, and then Trae Young beat them in 2021, and then Jimmy Butler doing what he did to them this year in the playoffs. We're not giving these other guys credit, and this is all in Embiid's watch. Now I give him a pass. I give him a pass this series a little bit because again he was dealing with injuries. He was dealing with Ben Simmons leaving, that whole toxic situation. James Harden playing like, hey, I'll give him a pass. But all I'm saying is that we can't deny, like you say that he hasn't had the teams that Giannis has had, bro. That's what really threw me off. That really threw me off when you said that.
Because you
I
keep
remember.
you're focusing not on the wrong. You're focusing on the wrong thing. I'm saying his team. He didn't have the team built around him like Giannis did. He had talented players, arguably more talented than what Giannis has. Because he had Butler, he has Harden, but he never had a team built around him until this year. This year he has a team built around him, so there's no excuse.
So
If he
2019 team that the Bucks had was built around Giannis.
that was more built around Embiid than probably any other year. But the problem is Embiid himself wasn't ready. Like you asking me to hold Embiid accountable, I'm holding him accountable. I'm saying he wasn't ready, period. He wasn't good enough yet.
No, I said the Bucks. I said the 19 with Giannis. His team was built around him.
Yeah, but
Because that was before Drew Holiday.
No, he was missing pieces. He was missing pieces.
So he took his team to the conference finals. As a matter of fact, the Bucks had the best record in the entire league. So even without this team built around Giannis, like we keep saying, he still was able to do something and take them to the conference finals with less help and less assistance within what Joel Embiid did with Philadelphia. And that's what I'm saying.
That's 1 year though.
But you said also, you said this, you got recorded. You said that if the players asked the players who was better, Giannis or Embiid, you was emphasizing that they would say Embiid, as if you're saying that Embiid's a better player if there's an even playing field. That's what you said. But I've given you example after example showing that Giannis has had the cards stacked against him, and he still was able to take his team.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Why didn't Giannis do as good as Embiid did when they played the same team, the Raptors?
You talking about 19?
In 19.
Because Kawhi that dude.
Right, I get that.
They had to build first of all, they built an entire scheme for Giannis.
You don't think they did that for Embiid?
They built an entire scheme over Giannis. And again, it was just Giannis they had to worry about. the Sixers had Embiid, they had
So
Simmons,
Chris
and Jimmy
Middleton.
Butler. They had a more fuller team. All the Bucks. Let's go back to my point again. That Giannis is the guy on the team. They stopped Giannis Antetokounmpo. They beat him in 4 straight games.
Yo, do you not realize how easy it is to guard Embiid when you got Simmons on the team? Giannis has all shooters on his team.
Yeah, excuses.
Isn't what's his name? The boy that can't shoot. Is he like a top defensive player during the season?
He's a top defensive. And it's how dumb the coach is. The coach didn't put Simmons on Kawhi Leonard until like the 4th game. They had Jimmy Butler out there getting cooked, and then they finally slowed Kawhi Leonard down when they put Simmons on.
So Simmons
like
is
4
good,
games to
right?
adjust.
So Simmons is good.
Simmons is what?
So is Simmons good?
Simmons is good at certain things. He's good at perimeter. He's the best
certain
perimeter
things.
defender in the league.
Okay.
He's good at everything except shooting. And the Sixers gave away that for a guy, James Harden,
But he's not good at everything except shooting.
who's been nothing short of a disappointment in the playoffs. And I'm just not seeing how in the world that you have so much confidence that this team is somehow he got a full team around him. You had PJ Tucker and Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell, the same dude in the bubble who got destroyed by Nikola Jokic. The matchups that y'all gonna have to deal with, y'all gonna have to deal with Boston, Miami, and Milwaukee, bro. That's why I'm saying. That's
but
why
what about the match? But look, what about the matchups they're gonna have to deal with the Sixers?
Okay, tell me the matchups.
Boston has no one to guard Embiid. Bucks match up pretty well versus the Sixers. That's really the only team. Everyone else has no one to guard.
Exactly. All you said was Embiid.
But what do we mean? What are we saying? What can you say about the other team?
I'm saying the Bucks have more things they have more weapons they have a better, first of all, they have a better team as far as they've been together longer. They got a championship, they have championship pedigree. That's why I'm saying
I think that our best player is better than their best player in the series. It's going to be better than their best player in the series. And I just think our team is better than their team. I've seen them play against each other several times in the regular season. I have reason to believe that the Sixers are better than the Bucks.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna look something up. So I need to see this.
I saw the Nets with nobody that can stop Embiid dominate the Sixers. And you think the Bucks Bucks cannot dominate the Sixers?
So what did Embiid do to the next game before that? Since you going about one regular season game.
The game before that,
they only played twice, bro. They only played twice against each other. And as far as the averages between the two, I know Giannis came in the league before Embiid did by 3 seasons. But if we're just talking about recently, Giannis has been having the upper hand. He's been playing better individually. He has a better overall head-to-head record.
Right, but the problem is, when I'm seeing them, I'm seeing that the Bucks are easy to scheme against, where the Sixers are not as easy to scheme against. You can't build a wall versus Embiid. That doesn't work.
But you have no other guys in your bench who's able to offset what the Milwaukee Bucks have. Milwaukee has a bench. That's what you're not getting. The starting 5 is solid. You have a starting 5, but you have no bench, and you have a detriment as a coach.
Let me ask who you taking? Embiid, Harden, and Maxey, or Giannis, Middleton, and Drew? Even if you take one or the other, it's super close.
How?
Can Drew Holiday? Can you Drew Holiday lock down Maxey?
I don't know. Maxey's pretty fast.
James Harden.
You just said,
we know that James Harden is gonna lock down himself. So,
Rick, didn't he just give James Harden a hard time when you said that he was an MVP, and then you just said just about a couple of seconds ago, Dominique, they got 2 MVPs. That's why it's close. So, bro, make up your mind.
No, I'm saying when we look at it, those 3 players are close. It's not like you're saying, oh, the Bucks are clearly a better team. No, that's not the case. They don't really match up well. They match up pretty good versus the Sixers, but I think the Sixers edged them out. I think Embiid has less weaknesses than Giannis does.
But bro, the results show
And Giannis is
that
easy to exploit in the playoffs.
Bucks have a better and literally that Bucks team. I don't think that Embiid could have done to Boston what Giannis did. He literally nearly beat them without any real assistance. That series against Boston.
How don't he have assistance? He has a rim protector. He has a main ball handler in Drew Holiday.
I'm talking about they weren't playing up to par, and then your second best player goes down with an injury. I don't think Embiid could have done what Giannis did against Boston. I think Boston outbeats the Sixers because they're a tougher team, they're more gritty, and they're a better coach.
I think if you bet your money on Boston beating the Sixers, you're going to be disappointed.
That's all the Sixers been disappointed the last 4 seasons. So
I know.
I think I'm confident.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, I'm not necessarily confident on the Sixers winning. I believe they can. Like when I look at it and I analyze it, I think the Sixers are better than those teams. And I wouldn't bet my money just for the simple fact that they haven't gotten it done yet, and they have to get it done to show me for me to have that big. But what I'm saying is, I believe they can win, and this year is a year that you can properly judge them. Just for the simple fact that Embiid has a team built around him. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you on that. I said this is the year that they probably have Embiid as the most readiest he's ever been, but they still gonna lose. You know why? Because they don't match up well against 3 other teams I just named. Milwaukee, Boston, and Miami have their number.
Nah.
That's what I'm going.
You see how
Miami showed them last year. They're a better team. They're a better coach. Boston,
but
Boston's
Embiid didn't play for 2 games. How do we judge that?
And then the games he came back. He played the last 2 games, right?
You know how bad Miami struggles to score in the playoffs?
No, I'm saying Game 5 and Game 6. What happened when Embiid came back?
But Embiid is still nursing injuries as the series goes on.
So you want to give what are we supposed to do, Dominic? You want to give him credit. You want to say he didn't play the last 2 games, as if you're giving him credit because what he did in games 3 and 4. But then when I bring up games 5 and 6, he's nursing injury. So you put me in a lose situation.
Well, okay. So is it harder? Okay, so is it harder to win on the road or at home in the playoffs, especially for role players?
I saw Kawhi on one leg dominate the team. So,
do you have to be greater on the road or at home?
Say that again, Bruce.
I saw Kawhi on one leg dominate the team. So the injury.
I saw Jimmy Butler on the road against Boston, nursing a freaking I don't know what it is. He had to shoot his whole entire knee up, and he got a win on the road. So what does that mean? It's hard to win on a home at road. What's that got to do with anything?
No, I'm saying like he got 2 wins at home when he came back, but his role players stepped up. But then when you go on the road, role players don't play as well. You have to be greater on the road, and he wasn't able to be great like that because of the injuries, because he's nursing injuries.
Great players carry their team on the road. If you're great, you carry your team on your road. The role players don't have to carry you. The excuse of role player on the road.
And Embiid did not play well in that Game 5. He did not.
He didn't play well, but his role players played well. So he didn't have to. Like I said, he's still nursing the injury. He just didn't have to play as great. But you have to play greater on the road. And he wasn't able to play great on the road. And they lost. Miami is not a better team than Philadelphia. Come on now.
And then Game 6, what happened?
The same thing that happened in Game 5.
They went on the road. They went on the road.
Yeah, they weren't on the road, but they wasn't able to get it done. Embiid wasn't able to be great, and he wasn't able to carry that team.
So you saying all the right things, but you keep on, maneuvering, around, bro. Like you just said, the home and road team thing made a big difference. His teammates weren't able to carry him. Okay, fine. I gave you a home example in Game 6, and then you said, well, they weren't able to get it done. And that's my point. There's too many times he wasn't able to get it done.
Yeah, but like you said, he didn't play good in game. What was that game? Game 4, you said, or Game 5?
Game 5.
He didn't play well. Yeah, he didn't play well. He wasn't able to. Their whole defense is centered around Embiid. Look at the defense they playing. They had Bam Adebayo fronting Embiid, and they had another player. They was zoning up. They was making sure Embiid not only they wasn't even building the wall. They was making sure he doesn't even catch the ball. They don't even want him
Where's
to
that
catch the
amazing?
ball.
Where's that amazing skill set that you talked about? About he has, right? Where's that amazing skill set Embiid has? Because
But
they did the same thing with Giannis with Toronto, and I remember Giannis still getting his numbers. Embiid didn't. I think he scored less than 20 points in that game. So where's this amazing skill set? Where's this amazing skill set that you keep speaking on Embiid about?
But Embiid had a broken orbital. He had an orbital fracture in his face, and he had a torn ligament. Did he not? He got surgery on a torn ligament in the offseason, and he was in concussion protocol with the broken orbital bone.
You know what Embiid should do there? You know what Embiid? He should follow suit with Kawhi Leonard do. Just don't play. Just don't
right.
play.
You just at this point. So Jimmy Butler can have an entire his whole damn knee needs to be drained out game after game. He goes out there and gives you 47 points on the road in a hostile environment in Boston. That's greatness, and that's what we judge people by when the cards are stacked against him. But this nigga in B, we got to have everything right. We got to have, you know what I'm saying, his whole entire body needs to be correct, even though they play an 82-game season. You know what I'm saying? His teammates got to hit 100% from the field. His coach can't make no mistakes. James Harden got to have 25 points and 26.
His high coach got to be just right for the game.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Joel Embiid, his orbital fracture in his eye, you know, he can't get more than 20 points. But he has a cold. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, but he has a headache. So it's like, oh, well, damn, when do we give this thing credit? Oh, games 3 and 4, yeah, those count because he played well, but games 5 and 6, nah, he had an orbital. Man,
I didn't say games 3 and 4 count. I don't think that I don't look at that series as a barometer of what the Sixers can do. Period. Games 3 and 4, the role players was playing great. They stepped up. They was feeding off the momentum of Embiid man back, but then they came back down to earth to the fact that Embiid is hobbled. He's injured.
Giannis got injured against Atlanta. Missed couple of games.
Hold on,
Giannis's whole damn knee hyperextended.
Okay, we talking about two different players. We talking about two different players and two different injuries. Man. One guy may be more durable than the other. We don't know.
Giannis used more athleticism to score than Embiid.
You're right, but Embiid is much bigger than Giannis, man. Embiid is like 7'2", 300 pounds.
He's 280.
He has to put his fork down.
He's not 280.
He's 280, bro.
He's not 280. They don't report his correct weight because they don't want that out there in the media.
Man, you got every counter punch for this man.
Yo, hold on.
What's Embiid's favorite color?
Yo, hold on. Did you see Embiid when he first got in the league? How skinny he was? They had him 280.
So you need to stop eating. That's the
reason. He's bro, not. All we saying is that you.
That's not fat. That's muscle.
You start off with saying that Embiid, if there was an even playing field, it'd be different. As if he's a better player than Giannis. That's what you start off with. So we're just going off what you said. So we're giving you stuff back in response, but you keep making extra excuses and extra reasons why. More than just saying his context, you're actually giving excuses why he's losing. He's not coming to show. And then with the same guy who had injuries, just like Embiid had injuries, was able to win a championship. Oh, it's because he's the different. Like, bro.
Hold on. Every time somebody don't get it done, there's always a reason. It's not just magically not get it done because they didn't get it done. There's always context to it. I'm adding context to it.
I agree, but why can't you give Giannis?
That's like saying why didn't Kawhi Leonard get it done in the versus the Denver Nuggets in the bubble?
But I'm saying you're trying to say injuries is an excuse for you not to play well, as if that's not. I just give you an example of Giannis and Jimmy Butler just playing out their mind when they were given the stacked cards stacked against them. But you're not giving them that same respect. You want to keep going back to Embiid.
Hold on. So let me ask you a question. Who was a better player in the bubble? Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James?
LeBron.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought you were going to say Kawhi Leonard. So at any period, was Kawhi Leonard ever better than LeBron?
Yeah. I think he's better than him now.
So the bubble was just 2 years ago, right?
Right.
So when did he become better than LeBron?
After he won that championship in 19.
But the bubble was after that. So you just said LeBron was better.
He was better in that moment. Because he won the championship and he played better in the bubble because what happened in Kawhi in Game 7, he didn't play up to his level.
Oh, so now you got excuses for Kawhi, but I can't.
No, it's
I
not.
can't have
I'm
this.
not. No, see, with me, I'll tell you, I say Kawhi's the better player, but he's had actual evidence that he's on that level because he won a championship. You can't put Embiid in that same situation. Kawhi won a championship. In 2021, before Kawhi got hurt, he was the best player in the NBA in the playoffs. Embiid has no track record where you can say, oh, at that point, yeah, that made him the best player. Or at that point, no, you don't have that. So you can't.
Well, not yet, no. But what you just said doesn't make sense. You said Kawhi was the best player, and then a year after that, 1 year after that, LeBron James becomes the best player.
It's a year by year thing. But what I'm saying is you can't.
How do you become the best player?
Embiid has no evidence to prove at any point when he was better than Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So how do you leapfrog somebody as a player and then they come back and leapfrog you?
Bro, I'm sorry, but best players have choked. LeBron has choked. Kawhi choked in the bubble. LeBron choked too.
Yeah.
Did Embiid choke? Can you answer that?
So how did LeBron choke in the bubble when they won a championship?
That's not what I said. I said LeBron has choked in 2011 against Dallas.
Okay.
Right?
And he was
was he the best player?
My whole point is there's always context to why a player loses. It's not just
I give you context
because they lose. So because I'm adding context to Embiid losing, or I'm explaining what happened.
No, you're adding excuses for Embiid losing. You're adding excuses for Embiid losing. You have a list.
You said that he's better than Giannis. That's why I can't get over. There's no evidence to prove other than his potential, which I think he should be better than Giannis. But the only
argument Giannis has to be better than Embiid is Giannis can say, "Oh, I'm more dominant," but which I disagree. But that's the only thing Giannis, as a basketball player, when we break down their basketball skill set, how can we say Giannis is better than Embiid?
Because he has a championship and Embiid doesn't.
But he's won. It's a team game, dude. Like you can't just say
he led his team. He's not right. Hold on. Embiid and Giannis are in the same position. Giannis has Milwaukee, Embiid has Philadelphia.
So
Giannis has taken his team. Hold on. Giannis has taken his team farther and been a better leader than Embiid has been. And that's why he's a champion. Even before he won a championship without Jrue Holiday on the team, he took his team farther than what Embiid did. Who's had more help on his team? So there's nothing that you can say that Embiid's a better player than Giannis other than his potential, which he can be, and his skill set. But the fact of the matter is that Giannis has been a better overall player. If you want to look at the head-to-head matchups, Giannis smokes him. Look at the statistics. Giannis smokes him.
So you admit that his Embiid skill set is better than Giannis.
Right, it is.
Okay.
Make you a better player.
So if Embiid goes farther than Giannis this year, is Embiid better than Giannis?
Bro, I'm waiting for I am waiting. I'm waiting for Embiid to leave.
No, I want to ask you because a lot of times we say things like in the media. I'm not saying I think you do a lot better job than the media, but a lot of times we say things, but there's no criteria for who's better or what makes you better. So I'm saying what would make Embiid better than Giannis? If he wins this year,
skill set, bro. It's just
no, I'm saying, if he wins this year, will you say Embiid is better than Giannis?
Yes, I will. I'm waiting for it, bro. I'm waiting for it to happen. But I can't give it to him because Giannis has shown me more.
All right.
I'm not gonna say it because that's not gonna happen. Embiid is gonna choke again.
I'm just saying,
he's gonna whine.
I think that he's gonna win, and they're gonna make up excuses. They're gonna say Harden was the best player on the team, or it's gonna be some type of excuse as to why Embiid is not better.
Where is he? Embiid's gonna win in a big three? I don't think he's gonna win, man.
Oh, it doesn't really matter what you think. It's matter what's actually going to happen. Like I always tell you, it's not you that got a guard Embiid. It's the other teams that do.
Wait, if I'm a player, I'm gonna sleep party, and I'm gonna play Embiid. If I'm playing Giannis, I'm gonna sleep, man.
Okay, it's easy for you to say that because you don't have to guard him. It's them that have to guard him.
This is a prime example of what Anthony Davis. It's the same thing. Anthony Davis. Just 2 seasons ago, no one would say Giannis was better than Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis, the last 2 years, has been trash, right? So now you can't put him over Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anthony Davis is more skilled than Giannis. but he's not a better player. So it's the same thing with Embiid. He has all the tools, but you're not going into your toolbox and getting your tools out.
There's a lot of players that were more skilled than Michael Jordan. Doesn't mean that Michael Jordan is not the best player ever.
Well, Anthony Davis is a lot less durable than Giannis. I don't know. I think Anthony Davis is not as dominant as Giannis. He might be more skilled. So you can't. I would say Anthony Davis is not as good as Giannis. But when we look at Embiid is not as durable as Giannis. So maybe we can get the slight edge to Giannis because of that. But when we look at dominance, Embiid is right there with Giannis.
Where does dominance come from? How do I train in a weight room for that?
Dominance comes from when you it's not necessarily like you don't need a counter to score. You can do something and you don't and the team can try to stop it, or the opposing player can try to stop it, but they can't stop it. You don't have to have a counter to score. That's dominance to me.
Okay, to me,
like if you can back somebody down and score every single time, and you don't have to counter, use a counter to do it. That's dominance to me.
Okay, this is dominance to me right here. That's dominance to me. I'm not gonna let you score. I'm gonna outscore you. I'm about to destroy you and your team. It all starts up here. And when we watch Embiid play, just physically, he is like an elephant. You cannot move him. You can't do nothing with him. And when he decides to play, because you said earlier, he takes his foot off the gas. When he does decide to play, can't nobody stop him. He shows true dominance. But if he takes his foot off the gas, doesn't that start from up here?
Yeah, I agree.
That's all.
So I think the solution to that is you're gonna have to surround him with players that are a little bit stronger mentally.
Why can't he just be mentally stronger?
Like I said, every player has their weaknesses.
BJ, what did your cousin say on the last show? The weakest link on your team is pretty much the strength of that team, right? So your leader has to be the strongest thing pretty much for the rest of your team to be. You need somebody to follow. So if he's the superstar of that team, he needs to be the strongest so that the rest of his team can follow him.
But he is the strongest in a lot of different areas, but maybe one area he might not be strong in.
Oh my God.
Follow what I'm saying. So if he's not mentally the most dominant, how can anyone else learn from him or follow his example?
But that's what I said. That's like LeBron James, right?
But we're not going to LeBron because I've been watching you this whole time. I've been the most quiet. I've been watching how you move. We'll keep the goalposts right here. So here's what I'm going to keep the goalposts. No, we talking about Embiid. We're going to keep the goalposts right here and things that you said about Embiid. You said that Embiid takes BJ. We go. Okay. You said that Embiid takes his foot off the gas. Okay. Again, that's something you can't coach. That's a mental thing. That's a you thing. Then we go on to say, okay, we think that mentally he's not there, so let's get pieces around him who are mentally there. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I can't force a person to be dominant. If they don't want to be dominant, it don't matter how dominant I am. If they don't want to be dominant and they're your leader, you're in trouble as an organization. The leader has to be a dominant player. They have to want it. Giannis wants it. So guess what? It's easier for everybody else to pick it up. Whether they good players, side players, superstar, it don't matter. It's easier to follow a leader that's dominant. It's just if you're the leader, it's easier for me to be led by somebody who has this certain type of mindset. But if I'm more dominant to you and I'm a side player, I'm not even going to listen to you. So let me finish. What difference would it make if I go get a bunch of strong-minded people if I'm not going to listen to that guy over there and he's the star of the team? What's the point?
I'm following you, and I'm saying the point is, I'm not saying Embiid is just some mental midget. I'm just saying that one of his weaknesses may be the fact that he's not as gritty or he's not as strong mentally. So you have to cover that up with players. It's like any player's weaknesses. Like you can't teach closing. Like you can't. LeBron James was not a closer.
Physicality wise, I'm sticking on Embiid right now. I'm not worried about LeBron. He got his chips. At the end of the day, physicality wise, who stops Embiid when he really plays?
I get what you're saying. It's a team effort. to stop Embiid.
Who stops Embiid? I'm on Embiid right now. Who stops him when he really plays?
It's a team effort. I get you. It's not one player. I'm following you, but the problem is you need a team, dude. You need a team to cover your weaknesses. Period.
You say Embiid is that great, but you want him to other players to carry him to the finish line.
No.
How can you be so good and you need to have other players carry you to the finish line?
I can't.
Yo,
Don't you have to be the leader?
This supposed to be a top 5 player when healthy, and you asking me to carry you, nigga? You supposed to be carrying us. Ain't
No,
that what
he's
the best player's
carrying
supposed to do?
He's carrying them. He's the most dominant player on the court. He's carrying them. It's just that he might need gritty players to pick him up in those moments of weakness.
Pick
He
him up.
might need that.
He can do more.
But he's the most dominant on the team. You just said that.
Yeah, but that's like saying Giannis is that's like saying Giannis, you can't close. How you expecting somebody else to be
No,
mentally
Giannis
strong
is the
enough to
most
close?
dominant, so it allows his teammates to feed through his energy. He's the leader of the team.
Right, but that's the same thing with Embiid.
So if Embiid's the most dominant player on the team, why is it so hard for those pieces to play with him?
But look, like not being able to close, that's also a mental deficiency. That's mental.
Oh,
That's not
my God.
physical. Giannis has a mental deficiency. It's just he has teammates to cover it up. Just like Embiid.
No. But I already debunked that argument. I've given you examples. He's closed. That's a
He's
media
not-
narrative that he
Who
can't.
do you want-
I've
who do you
given you
want close
examples
to
that
the
he
game?
can close.
You want the ball in Giannis' hands at the end, or you want the ball in Middleton's
Oh
hands?
my God, quit moving
It's
the
not about that.
goalposts.
See, you trying to.
Quit
No,
moving
I
the
said
goalposts.
you said Giannis can't close. I showed you examples he can close.
No. I didn't say he can't close. He's just not the elite closer that maybe some other guy is. That might be his
bro.
weakness.
You said closing was deficiency, bro. That's what you
It
said.
is. Giannis is the closer
It's
now?
not. If that isn't Giannis has. You said that Giannis can't close, and they cover that up for him. That's what you said, bro.
So Giannis is a closer like MJ or like Dame Lillard, or or like Kobe, like anybody who we consider a closer.
So now we gonna try to make we gonna try to lessen his.
Is Michael
closing
Jackson
ability.
or Prince a better singer? That's one of those questions
That-
where
so-
it's
so
gonna all
we
either
gonna-
or.
We gonna lessen his closing ability and raise it up to one of the greatest of all time, bro. Man, the fact
That's
of the
the
matter is
standard.
that he can
That's the
close,
standard.
bro.
So
That's the standard.
is Embiid a closer, Dominic?
Embiid is a closer. Yes, he doesn't need another closer on his team.
So
He's
why
a
does he
closer.
need help to carry him to the finish line?
If-
He's a
if-
closer.
No, he needs players to cover up his deficiencies, but closing is not one of his deficiencies. If you put another closer on his team,
What?
it's going to take away from his ability.
What's
He
his
doesn't
deficiency?
need that. He don't need another closer. He needs other guys to cover up for his deficiencies. All of these players in the league right now have deficiencies.
What is deficiency? You said it's mental.
Yeah, I think his deficiency is the fact that he's not as gritty and he's not as tough in some of those moments. And he needs guys to pick him up.
So he's soft.
He needs goons on his squad.
Man, I never heard other great players need this, they need that.
What do you mean? LeBron James needed closers. He need Kyrie Irving. He needs Dwayne Wade. Those guys are closers. That's a mental deficiency. If you can knock down half-court shots throughout the game, but then in the fourth quarter you can't close, that's mental.
I hope LeBron fans know. Hear you. But thank you for telling me that. I'm gonna use that. Thank you.
I mean, I'm just stating the truth here, man.
Hey man, at the end of the day, I'm laughing. I know you're an Embiid fan. It's just you love Embiid, man.
I keep it real.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it, man. It's just like we were talking to the brother last week with LeBron. He was a mad LeBron fan. Yeah, I can tell you a mad Embiid fan. And everything that we come at you with, we're using your own words, and then you will move the goalpost.
I'm not removing the goalposts. I'm just providing context, man.
and then you would cover it up by saying context as if us three have not been giving you context. You would just move it again.
The goalpost is the same, man. I don't know.
No, we understand that you think Embiid is going to have the most to prove. We get that, but then it got deeper than that. So
But it's not like I'm just saying things. I'm backing it up with stuff. I don't think those other guys have more to prove than Embiid because those guys have won already. They don't have to prove themselves. If they don't win, they're fine. They're in the Hall of Fame. Kawhi Leonard is a Hall of Fame player, top 75. If he don't win, he's fine. He won with 2 different franchises. He carried the Raptors to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
He
You,
don't have
you,
more to prove than Embiid.
you did
Giannis don't have more
something
to
good.
prove.
You did something good for me, man.
Tatum
Uh,
is 24. He has time. He doesn't have more to prove than Embiid. Embiid is 28.
what?
Yes,
Tatum's just choking the finals. He has something to prove. Come on,
he
man.
has something to prove, but not more than Embiid. He's young. He has time. He has a couple years left to prove this stuff. Embiid
There's
has
no
to
such
prove
thing
it
as
now.
having times in basketball.
But a younger player is going to have more time than an older player.
Okay, did Brendan Hoy have time? Did Derrick Rose have time?
We talking about the majority here.
Oh no, he just doing what you do. Like
It's not doing what I do because
he using examples, using context.
No, he's not.
He is. Yes, he is. He's giving you examples, giving you context.
No, he stated one thing. I'm giving you multiple examples. I'm stating it with the majority.
I give you multiple examples.
You give me Brandon Roy. Like, come on, man.
Did Charles Barkley have time? Did Karl Malone have time?
Yeah, they did. They had plenty of time to prove it.
Okay.
Charles Barkley, he kept running into Jordan.
So Embiid may be the next Charles Barkley.
I mean, yeah. If he doesn't prove it, that's what he's going to fall.
I mean, at least Charles went to the finals.
Right.
And won an MVP.
So he's not even going to be as accomplished as Charles Barkley if he doesn't get it done. That's why I say he has the most to prove.
But Charles Van never said that he's has mental deficiency or whatever.
But Charles has other weaknesses. That might not be his weakness, but he has other weaknesses.
Embiid's weakness is he always think he's not at fault. It's the other player's fault. That's not
true. That's not true.
Yes, it's true. He's always whining. Oh, we don't have the players. You have umpire that's missing the wide open basket.
So let me ask you a question. Why does he get better every year? If he don't think it's his fault, then he would never get better.
He get better every year?
You tell me. Look at the numbers.
See, you look at his numbers. That's why LeBron's is that great for a lot of people. Player stats. Look at that stats, man. Stop looking at stats. Look at the game.
It's not just stats. It's impact. Look what he's doing. He's adding moves to his game. He's getting better.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like what? I don't know how I can make it more.
Hey man, look. Hey man, Embiid the GOAT, man. You got it.
He got the potential.
I mean, you convinced me that John Wall. No, I said John Wall. No, I think it's Embiid because
I think John Wall's up there too with the most to prove. I don't think it's Kawhi Leonard. I think John Wall's up there. He has a lot to prove. He's older. He's coming back. He has a lot to prove.
Kawhi has 2 championships. Already top 75. He's gonna be first ballot Hall of Famer. Is Embiid that?
That's why I don't think that he has that more to prove than a guy like John Wall or Embiid because he already won.
Okay, so Embiid has no excuse. If he lose this year, are you gonna be back here with the same argument?
Yeah, I keep it real. If he lose, I think that this year you can properly assess him, and there's not many excuses this year. He has a solid team built around him. You got to get it done. Period.
Okay, I hope your coach is not busy on Twitter liking pictures. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you can't use the coach as an excuse either. You got to get it done. I think I'm fair to all the players. I'm consistent and I'm fair to all the players.
Dominique, brother, what time is it? Man, I gotta give you credit, man. You really damn near almost convinced me to think that Embiid had a point that he ain't got to the finals yet. You almost did it. But that's bullshit. You said that he was as good as Giannis.
I mean, I don't know. Hey, it's all opinionated at the end of the day.
There you go.
I gotta give you credit, though. I gotta give you credit, man. I give you credit. But yeah, he ain't better than Giannis. You can ask Jesus if he's better than Giannis. He ain't better than Giannis.
Yeah, it's all opinionated.
I think Embiid is more talented, but the better player that's gonna make my team better. is Giannis.
I disagree. I think Embiid has always had the top 10 defense.
Man, Embiid the GOAT. He winning 5 championships. I don't care what nobody say.
All right. I mean, we laughing, but you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh.
It's only, you know, great players.
See.
Great players. They you know, most of the time they always gonna break through.
All right.
They might have to learn. They might go through their bumps and bruises, but they gonna break through eventually.
You know, I've been wrong plenty of times on this show, so I don't mind coming back and saying I was wrong about that.
No, he's not gonna break through this year.
Like I said, it's not you that got to guard him, Bruce. It's the other teams. So you can say what he's not going to do, but you don't have to guard. You don't have to guard a 7'2", 300-pound guy with Kobe moves.
Kobe moves.
It's those guys that got to guard him.
Kobe moves.
Yeah, Kobe moves with no Kobe mentality.
Well, he has Kobe mentality, but he's not Kobe.
He has a worm, no member mentality, worm mentality, worm. You know.
I guess that's why you need players to cover that up.
Nobody's scared of Embiid in the NBA, man. Nobody's scared of Embiid.
You think so? Tell them not to double team him then.
No, nobody's scared of Embiid, man.
He had 50 and 27 minutes on the Magic. Let's see what he have if you don't double team him. I guarantee he scored 90 points.
50 and 27. Yeah, right.
50 points in 27 minutes because they didn't double team him. And the coach and the announcer said any coach that don't double team Embiid should be fired.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
Miami. How come Miami won if Embiid is that good?
Like, dude, we went over this already. I'm not going back to that. Oh, you said Embiid is nobody's afraid of Embiid. Okay, tell that to the other teams. Tell them don't double him then.
Isaiah Thomas was on one leg in a game in the finals. One leg. Right?
Which Isaiah Thomas? Some people don't know. Which the Pistons or the little
the Pistons?
Oh yeah, he was on one leg. Yeah.
So what's Embiid's excuse?
I'm just saying it's easy for us to talk about who's a bum and who's not going to get it done because we don't got to guard these guys. I could sit here and say, "Hey, ain't nobody scared of Giannis."
No, we're not saying that, man.
I don't have to guard Giannis.
We use the context. These people were injured. What he's using is an example of somebody was injured and still rose to the occasion.
Okay. How many times did he do that?
Oh my gosh, you
in his career. I'm just asking.
The time that counted. The time that counted.
I'm just saying, how many times did he do that in his career?
That the time that counted. I like how Bruce put it.
The time that counted.
So who's to say that he's not going to do that?
Why are we going off potential, man? Okay, look.
His career ain't over yet. He's still in the club.
We know that. Look, if he wins, I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna tell you, Dom, I want you to come back on the show. I'm like, Dom, you was right. This man is great. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that just for you. But until then, we're gonna have to see.
but listen, the whole crazy thing is I agree with you on that. That's why I said I'm not sitting here guaranteeing a win. I'm saying I believe that they can win. But at the end of the day, like you said, I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. I
guarantee they're not winning this year.
That's fine. You know, the funny thing is, I heard the same people say the same thing about Giannis. He sucks in the playoffs. He's easy to scheme for. He's never going to win in the playoffs. He's not a playoff player.
Never said that about Giannis.
Never said it, but a lot of people said it. I don't go by what people say, and everybody.
You have James Harden and Doc Rivers. You're never gonna win.
Yeah, I hear you.
You have Tobias Harris.
Same thing they said. They said until he get a jump shot, he's never gonna win in the playoffs.
Okay. Tobias Harris is on your team. Second best player, right?
Second best player. Tobias Harris is the fourth option.
Oh, now it's the fourth, but that's not how he gets paid.
Right. I mean, what's the point?
Okay.
Oh man.
How many people can say they have a better fourth option than Tobias Harris?
A lot.
Name one.
Golden State.
Who's their fourth option?
I don't know. Jordan Poole, maybe. I'll take Jordan Poole over Tobias Harris.
So Jordan Poole is their fourth option. Who's their third option?
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is the second option.
No, it wasn't last year.
Okay, so so what other team besides the Warriors? They just
What
won a
other team?
championship. They just won a championship.
I would say the Celtics.
Yeah.
Who's their fourth option?
Let me see. Offered or something? I don't know. Offered or what's the point guard name? That
He's
was
not
defensive
better.
player there. I'll take Offered over Tobias Harris.
Nah. Horford's
Okay.
not better player than Tobias.
Really?
As far as
If
scoring,
Tobias Harris was playing for the Celtics, the Golden State Warriors will sweep.
but that's
Listen.
because Tobias Harris has a different role. They might not need another wing. They have wings
Yeah.
already. They might need Will
Or
Horford.
not showing up role. That's what he's doing with the Sixers.
I mean, like, you can't just say, "Oh, Tobias Harris is playing." They don't need another wing. They have wings. The Sixers would need Tobias Harris.
Name
Yeah.
one moment. If you're putting Tobias Harris in the Sixers Hall of Fame, name one moment we need to remember Tobias Harris.
See, this is what y'all do. Y'all talking about?
See.
Look
Go
at
ahead.
words.
I'm
You
waiting.
put the words in my mouth. Did I ever say Tobias Harris was in the Sixers Hall of Fame? I said he's one of the best fourth options in the league right now.
There's like 15 teams with better fourth options.
Okay. BJ, you agree with that? Is he asleep?
No, I think he's looking at something.
Oh, BJ,
Yeah.
you agree with that? Is there 15 other teams with better fourth options than Tobias?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy.
I mean,
But
Pelicans
Tobias
have
is-
better
I mean,
fourth options.
but you understand, a lot of these players like Tobias, James Harden, all these players are gonna follow Embiid's lead. So you can be technically your play can go up based off of what your leader does. That's what Jimmy Butler was able to do with that Miami Heat team. So Embiid don't get a pass. He has to lead. He has enough. Like even last year and years before, he's had enough to get this team to where they need to get to. So now he don't get a pass from me.
I agree. I mean, hey, that's your opinion. I agree. I
There
mean,
we
if
go.
you want to hold him up to that standard, then
Hey,
that's
Hold him up
your
to it.
opinion.
Embiid coming through with the Yunks. Yo. At the end of the day, the brother feels that Embiid has the most to prove, so that's all good. BJ, you have anything to say?
Nah, man. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to my man C Hill coming in. What's good, man? You missed a great live show, but you can always revisit, man. Well, appreciate all y'all coming through, man. Rick, go me your social media. Get out of here.
Hey, man, at Rick Masters 23, at Rick Masters 23 of Mr. Lee. Hey, hit me up on the Instagram.
See Hill,
Rick,
Mr.
everywhere
See
else.
Hill, Mr.
at
He
the-
missed the slaughter.
Yeah, see Mr. Slaughter down there. Hey, get him as well. At the end of the day, man, we got the shirts, the red, the black, the white, all the good stuff. You know what I mean? Look at the Cash App ticket down there. Y'all already know what it is. $, BJ Matthews, man, if you want to give to the show. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Be Jizzle. Let's go.
Like my man said, go ahead and, subscribe to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Pull up your seat, pull up your chair, pull it out. Peace. I like swim well.
All right.
Peace out.